Well, here we are, another beautiful day in the neighborhood, taking a nature walk. Those of you who follow the goings on Facebook may know that I got kicked out of another Frazetta fan group. Well, and it's a very, very bizarre situation. I try not to repeat some of the stuff I talked about last time about toxicity, but that certainly is part of it. But anyway, so when it comes to my work, I mean, I get criticized, and it's like, well, I could, just ignore it or whatever. But it's, just for the record, I don't really want to do that. And not only that, the criticism is basically inaccurate and unfair. So, say for example, you got someone who's, in this fan base. They don't know anything about anything else. They look at it because they think it's not just that you look at it and you appreciate it in any way. You may like the subject matter or something like that, but it's also that you wear the admiration yourself, kind of like a badge of honor. So it's like, well, I like this because, well, I just have good taste and it's the best, and therefore I'm the best. So there's a lot of that. That doesn't just apply to fantasy art. It's also, sports teams and political parties and things like that. Validation of the self. But the criticisms I get from, it's crazy in a way, because here I am. I didn't go to college. I gave it a shot taking art. It just didn't deliver enough information fast enough for me. So I wound up teaching myself, which has never stopped. So in a sense, I've been in college for 40 years, continuing to learn, improve, grow, and continuing to learn. So anyway, that's not what this fan base is about. So I've talked before about recognition and comparison. Those are the layman's beginner first grade sort of way of looking at art, or anything else in the world for that matter. And it doesn't really lead anywhere. So anyway, it doesn't matter who they are, where they are, what you did. It's like if it's got a muscular guy and a half-clothed woman, maybe a monster, they're going to say, oh, that looks like Frazetta. And then the next thing will be, oh, you're copying. Oh, well, wait a sec. This painting's 300 years old. How can it be copying? Maybe it's going the other way. Oh, well, never mind. But anyway, so to say someone is copying, it's like, well, take someone like, I don't know, different genre of music, Rolling Stones maybe, or something like that. It's like, well, they copied, black music. So does that mean nothing that they ever did is, they emulated it? Mick Jagger pretends to have a, black accent. So where do you draw the line there? It's like, I personally think that they are very derivative. And anyway, but getting back to art, it's like, well, copying. Okay. Well, how many kinds of copying are there? What exactly is copying? Copying, slavishly, photorealism is copying. But there again, it's like they're fessing up to it. So I took a photograph, and meticulously copied it. Right? Okay. Well, that's one. That's probably at one end of the spectrum. Copying could be tracing, using a projector to copy something, using photo reference. All those are mechanical forms of copying. Another form of copying is to have, you know, a memory of the way something looks, and it's like, okay, going to copy that. It's like basically there's nothing original under the sun. Everything is a variation of something else. So anyway, there's such, you know, there's what I would call legitimate variations. So if you write a song, and say it's a love song, it's like just because there are other love songs out there doesn't mean that you copied it. So anyway, in my career, I've been extremely fastidious about not copying anything, mainly because I wanted to, you know, take full credit for what I had done, which might have been coming from a place of ego, but that's what it was. So, there again, you know, Frazetta himself claimed he didn't use photographs, claimed he didn't copy anything, claimed he didn't use reference, and that's been disproven many, many times, because he did swipe poses from here and there. And the whole thing of swiping is that's another subject in a sense, and that's featured in the famous artist course, you know, swiping and legitimate and illegitimate swiping. So I know what those are too. So anyway, just to point at my work and say it's, oh, you're copying, is fairly ridiculous. And you know, recently, you know, I got a telephone call from someone in the Frazetta family, certain woman, and to educate me, you know, fix me, correct me, and get me, you know, basically the way she wants things to be. And basically what she said, and all she did was talk. I couldn't get a frickin' word in sideways. That's a hint as to who that is. She said, well, basically, you know, that she, and this applies to a lot of people. So it's like, I like to look at art, and I don't have to think about it. I don't have to learn about it. I just like to look. And leave it at that. It's like, okay. Well, that would be like saying, well, I like to, I read this novel by so-and-so, and I like to look at the pages. But now you're telling me that the novel is based on his childhood experiences in Ireland or something like that. And it's like, I don't care about that. I'm not interested in that. I just like to look at the pages. So what it is, essentially, is a rationalization and a defense of ignorance. So it's like, well, I'm completely ignorant about this, but I'm happy, and that's the way I want to be. And it's fake. Well, it may not be fake, but it's what's the word when you look at myopic? So anyway, so I guess that could be another argument. And the thing about arguments is that you may think of an argument as being something where everyone's all hot and bothered and screaming and yelling, things like that. But actually, when it comes to semantics, discussing subjects, I can't go any further this way. Flooded. An argument is simply a point of contention, you know, statement that you make that you know, goes one way or another in terms of discussing a subject. So anyway, that kind of argument doesn't really, it's not an argument. It's basically, hey, I have my head in the sand and I'm perfectly happy this way, so recognize and respect that. Okay. Anyway, you know, so I've heard these ridiculous arguments. They're not really they're not really legitimate arguments at all. So, you know, you say someone's copying. Well, what? Where? Show me. Don't have to. And so, you know, it could be my mistake for responding to this stuff, but there again, as I've said, I'm in this thing to make a living and promote myself. And it's like on social media, it's like people can attack you, they can talk to you, And incidentally, I get a tremendous number of people that basically say, you know, right on, you're right, these people are assholes, da da da. So, but those people tend to confide that to me personally. They don't want to get involved in the, you know, the battle royale that might be going on online. I don't blame them. And so anyway, you know, so someone will make this, oh, you're copying. And it's like, really? Can you explain that? It's like, no. And then I, you know, say, well, if you can't explain it, if you can't back it up with examples, then you're not qualified to make the judgment in the first place. And where is that coming from? And then they'll hem and haw and kind of get dodgy, and then they'll say, well, I wish you the best. Have a nice day. And, you know, when people do that, it's so fake, because what it is, you know, it's trying to take the high ground. So it's like, I'm on the moral high ground, I'm better than you, I'm happier than you, you know, and it's BS, because they weren't that way when they started off. They were aggressive, they were attacking, they were criticizing. It's like, now, it's like, fine, run away, you know. But anyway, I'm not sure what you would call that. It's like fake concern or compassion, or, yeah, but it's fake. So when someone does that, says that sort of stuff, to, you know, kiss you off, blow off the whole thing, it's fake. And you can, you know, you can say that. So anyway, because the whole thing is, if they were Buddha or the Dalai Lama or something like that, and they really did feel that compassion, they wouldn't need to say it. They wouldn't need to say it. So anyway, that's kind of what we come down to today. You know, when it comes to, you know, copying, it's like when I was 14 or 15 years old, it's like I copied a couple of things. I can show you some examples of that. I mean, there was one post I copied from Jeff Jones. Can't even remember. It was probably from Idol, from National Lampoon or something like that. And can't really think of too many other ones, because I don't get any pleasure in using photo references or swipes or anything like that. Maybe I should, you know, it would have been a lot easier for me had I done that, but I didn't. So basically, there aren't any examples of it out there. But I don't know. Is there anything I've missed? Probably not, but you know. Anyway, so now I'm in this situation where I'm getting phone calls that basically, it's like harassment in a way. And like I told her, it's like, you know, you're running a museum dedicated to this artwork, and you could benefit from having more of an academic, more academic content to the presentation, rather than just let people come in and walk around and ooh, ah, or whatever. It's like, there's more to it than that. And the more you know, the more you will appreciate it. So, it's sort of, I guess, essentially an argument for, they're arguing for ignorance. And I'm not. I've never been afraid to learn new things, unless it's mathematics, and have applied myself. Without bragging, I can say more than anyone I've ever known. In this field, I've worked harder than anyone I've ever seen. It's taken a tremendous toll on me. It's taken a toll on my health, relationships. But anyway, I know what I know, and it's a long, long history of experience. So when I get a pea shooter, you know, from someone who has zero experience, no learning, no education, coming from a place of toxicity, then, you know, I basically say that. And then it's like, oh, then it's, you know, turns into catastrophe, World War III. So anyway, I guess that's about it. I don't think I've missed anything. So when it comes to copying, it's like there's a spectrum, and there are different levels. It's like there is tracing, there's swiping, there's emulation, there's all these different levels. So people want to accuse me of whatever because they have too much time in their day. I mean, I'm busy all the time. I'm working all the time. I'm in the trenches. I'm not out there, just cruising around on social media because I don't have anything better to do. So anyway, you want to make accusations. It's like, why don't you look at your own knowledge base first? Why don't you examine that? And if you need help with it, I'll help you with it. You can join my course, join my art academy, because that's what it's all about. And that's why I started it, actually. It's like these baseless attacks are why I started it. So anyway, I'm going for a bike ride after this one, and I'm going back to the studio. So thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. And before we get all full of ourselves, I'd like to point something out, and that is that mankind, we take ourselves pretty seriously in terms of our accomplishments, science, technology, whatever. When the real truth is that even an ant, can you see that one? Where is it? Tiny. There it is. There it is. Everything that we have that we think we know is dwarfed by that ant. We can't create an ant. And we don't really appreciate them either. We think of them as pests. So how crazy is that?